Just that feeling of knowing that people have come up to me so many times and letting me know how much it meant to them and begging me to bring it back. And I'm like, I can't bring it back. I don't have that power.
On this episode of Another Act, I talk with Kyla Pratt about staying the course, being an icon for young Black girls, and of course, bringing Penny Proud back to our TV screens. You know, Kyla, I want to start here. One of the more special moments for me was seeing you do an IG Live with Issa Rae and her really giving you these flowers. It was obviously the season that you had a guest appearance on Insecure. And I know that a lot of your fans really echoed what she was saying about your representation as a young Black woman on television. What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot to me. It's always weird because I started in this industry as a kid. I was 7, 8 years old. So I've never been that person that's like, oh, we're shooting this film and people are going to watch it, you know, or people are going to love me. And I've always been the person who just always loved bringing characters to life. And that's all I thought about. I wasn't thinking about like people are going to watch this at home or they're going to love it, you know? And when I would find out that people were watching and I'm like, oh, people watch this show. Like it was always, you know, a surprise to me. And as I've gotten older throughout the years, so many people have come up to me and said so many positive things that I didn't realize that I was a part of. You know, I was just a young girl that loved acting and was fortunate enough to have a mother who, you know, got a degree in theater arts. And I grew up watching her act and I'm like, hey, I want to be like mommy, you know? Yeah. So it's an amazing feeling. No, I'm all about energy. I'm all about love and, you know, wanting to make and shooting love to anybody that I'm around. And so to know that I was able to do that, not realizing it is absolutely amazing. And also for like Issa Rae, I let her know, like I've been a fan of Insecure since it started. So even like I could have been just walking in the background. I just, you know, wanted to be a part of her Black excellence in so many ways. So to be a part of a thing like that, you never know what you're going to get from people energy wise. And I always prepare myself for the worst just so I don't have to go into my alter ego that's like, you know? So it's always a pleasant surprise when you meet someone who is so talented in so many ways and they give you that wonderful, amazing energy that she gave me. And I feel like we were starstruck with each other.
It sounds like that when you were a young woman really navigating the space in Hollywood, you weren't really thinking about the actual work that you were doing with regards to representation and how important that was for so many young Black women. At what point in your career did you realize that you really were this change agent and a representative, and people were seeing themselves through you? Was it a particular role or was it something you discovered later when you became an adult?
I think it was more when I became an adult, because we filmed one-on-one. I was 12 when we shot the pilot, and then we wrapped when I was 19. So I like spent my childhood there. And to me, I was just like, oh, I get to go to work. I get to have fun. Like I wasn't, you know, I run into different people in this industry who don't, you know, react that way to things. It's all about, I wasn't thinking about publicity. Like, oh, I need to be seen, you know. I was a kid that got to do something fun, you know. And then as I got older, I said, wait, I have to start looking at this as a business. And then also realizing how many people were coming up to me and saying things to me, and then becoming a mother myself and realizing, you know, that I was so excited for like Princess and the Frog to come out. And I was just like, my baby has a Black princess. Like I didn't realize that was something that we missed, you know, and I think I was so busy, you know, being a kid and wanting to just have fun. And as I got older, it was like, hey, that's like, I've been a part of so many projects that are still relevant to this day and people still love to this day. And that is like, just a blessing. Like we didn't plan to do that. I auditioned for most of this stuff, you know, like I went to an audition like everybody else and just did my best. And maybe my energy was different because I was just like, oh, this is fun, you know, hire me or don't. Okay, it's cool. I'll go, you know what I mean? Like, so I think as I got older, I started to recognize it. And of course, becoming a mother and realizing the representation that you want to be yourself for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And also knowing that, they're going to be watching stuff, and they're going to be there. First of all, we're going to make sure that they understand that this is entertainment. It's not real life.
Mm-hmm.
I make it a point to point out different actors in different movies. Like, look at him. Oh, remember him? He played in this movie. Like, this is all make believe. This is not real life. This is not something that you try to imitate, or you try to, it's for entertainment. So to see them and understand how much representation they have now, and even something like the Proud Family Louder and Prouder coming out, like not realizing what the original Proud Family did for us at the time that it did. I didn't realize what it did for me. Like, it helped shape me into the young woman, that I am today. And now for my kids to have that type of show, that type of representation, coming on every week, something they can look forward to, is like, I'm so happy that they get that type of feeling of seeing a Black family. And even though, they're a little crazy, yelling and running around here and there, they're relatable. Like, we all have a sugar mama that is crazy, but has our back. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, she got your back. And if you don't, you watch the show and you want sugar mama to be your sugar mama, and we all got an Uncle Bobby in our family who we love, but sometimes don't want to claim, so, it's such a relatable show, and we talk about things that other people shy away from. And that's what makes me so excited to be a part of it, because conversations need to be had. People need to feel seen in order to mentally feel not alone. And I'm just excited for everybody to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the work that you did, you did so many projects that were resonant. I want to be clear about saying that, full stop. But it didn't just happen in live action. It happened in animation, which, as you well know, before Proud Family, we didn't really see that. We didn't see a Black family, a family of color, like, period. And then Proud Family comes along, and it not only, and I don't know what the intentions were with the creators. I don't know if they were like, let's give children something to see in themselves. But I was an adult when the Proud Family came out, and I loved it. I've watched every episode of it. I know that I'm not alone. Tell me about, just being part of making a difference in that animated space too, because that also is very significant too. And like you said, you guys didn't shy away from things in the Proud Family.
Yeah, it's amazing, because I can say this, that our creators, Bruce Smith and Ralph Farquhar, they did this on purpose.
Okay.
They wanted to show the depiction of a Black family because they knew that we didn't have it. Bruce Smith has worked on so many things, and just like, I didn't even realize, like, I'm working with a man who worked on Bebe's Kids. Like, what? Like, huh? And being able to be a part of the animation world and being able to do that is amazing. First of all, when I was that age, I didn't like my voice. I was like, ooh, my voice, like, ew, like, why are they gonna keep me? Are they gonna fire me? Like, they probably gonna fire me because, and it's crazy. Like, I like to share that, because it's like, sometimes you might not like something about yourself, but someone else might love it, and I'm happy that I was able to be a part, because I really believe it shaped me into the woman and the actress that I am today. And being able to go into a booth and be silly and crazy, and it doesn't matter what faces you're making. It's not about being cute all the time. It's about bringing the character to life and doing what you got to do to make that happen. So if I'm in there screaming at the top of my lungs or eyes bulging out of my face, I'm making this character, comes, and I didn't realize that, that's what people do. That's what these talented people do. Like, we have Tommy Davidson, like, what? Joan Marie Payton, Cedric the Entertainer, Paula J. Parker. Like, I'm surrounded by so many amazing artists, and I'm just happy that I was able to be a part of that back then. I remember auditioning for the Proud Family and seeing the cartoon Penny already drawn, and I was like, she kind of looked like me. I was like, let's see how this goes. Let me just be funny and let me just yell in the booth, and worked out good.
And then some, yes. So where were you when this came back to you and they said, what we think we want to do? Let's bring the Proud Family back. Where were you and what was your life like at that time?
I remember being home. It was actually, I want to say, a couple years ago, because it was right before the beginning of the pandemic. And I got a call from Bruce Smith and Ralph Farquhar on Three-Way. And they were like, hey, we're thinking about bringing it back. Are you interested? And I'm like, what kind of a question is that? Who else gonna play Penny? Don't play with me. Like, like, it's some beautiful, talented people out here, but don't play with me. Of absolutely. And just that feeling of knowing that people have come up to me so many times and letting me know how much it meant to them and begging me to bring it back. And I'm like, I can't bring it back. I don't have that power. Why are you yelling at me? But, I know that there's so many people who are going to be excited for it. And the way that they upgraded everything to fit the daily life of what's going on now in our world, and continuing to not shy away from conversations and not shy away from situations that other people might not want to talk about. I'm just happy to be a part of something that is as amazing as Louder and Prouder.
Let's talk about those updates because, they feel so significant. I mean, we get into gender identity. We obviously talk about, race and the constructs of race, but talk to me about some of those kind of updates that we're going to see in this new series, and why that's important that we see those things.
Well, we have a bunch of added characters. As was released, we have wonderful Kiki Palmer with us, who it acts kind of like Penny, but doesn't want to admit to it. But she's way more, socially active and running these streets and making sure she's fighting for everyone. We have EJ Johnson joining the cast as Michael. We have characters that have two dads. We're showing a different type of representation because, and to me, if you're able to watch something and feel like a character there looks like you or acts like you or is going through the same thing as you, whenever you're dealing with something, you no longer feel alone. You feel like, okay, I'm not the only person going through this type of situation. I'm not the only person with this dynamic of a family. I'm not the only person that feels this way about their parents or their, I feel like mental health is very important. And right now with the world that we live in, there's so many different things that can throw you to the left. And it's like we do a whole episode of dealing with social media and what it would be like to, become an influencer at such a young age. And I always sit back and I'm so happy, I didn't have to grow up in that time. Like, I can't imagine, what that's like, thinking about likes at such a young age and thinking about acceptance, or watching people who only post, congratulations things. They're not posting their failures all the time. They're not posting, when they're not having a great day. So if you're constantly feeling alone and all you see is people around you celebrating, it can be, discouraging. So a show like this it's important to have representation from every angle so people in this world can mentally feel safe and feel that love and just, watch something and learn something at the same time.
Yeah. What's that like for you to do this now as a mom? Because as crazy as this sounds, let's remind people who are watching this, you were not a mom when you were Penny Proud all those years ago. And now you come back and you have beautiful kids. Yes. What is that like for you right now?
It's amazing. It feels good because I think when they were younger, I think I had a lot of anxiety about, things that would come their way, or thinking about the future and what can I do to, not give them I always say I'm trying to raise my kids so they don't have to heal from their childhood. That's one of my main goals. And I'm not perfect. Their dad's not perfect. We're not going to be perfect all the time, but we can make ourselves aware of certain things. And having a show like this, my kids love the Proud Family. They watched the Proud Family movie years ago when they were younger, and I put it on just to see if they would recognize my voice, and they did. And now they're watching the show on Disney Plus, and my 8-year-old is so excited. She played the preview over and over and over again. But for them to have a show like I had growing up, like that I was able to be a part of, it makes me excited to know that, my kids and I are close enough to have conversations. And so it doesn't scare me for them to know about different things that are going on in the world. Why would it? I got to set them up before I let somebody else do it, and it's strange. It's definitely strange because I can see everybody's perspective now. I can see from Trudy. I can see from Oscar, even Sugar Mama. So, and even Bobby. You just want to come in and sing and that's it. And I'm out of here, everybody has their moments. So it's wonderful to be this person who I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to get better, and to be able to see myself grow within this character and being able to do things with my voice that I wasn't able to do before. is an amazing feeling, and my babies love it.
How has motherhood changed how you navigate Hollywood? Does that play a role in how you decide what you say yes to and what you even say no to?
It does. I also try to remind myself not to put too much pressure on myself in that way, because I am an actress and I do want to tell, I believe everyone's stories deserve to be told. I feel like, I've been working, with the Dr. Doolittles, the, Love and Basketball, the Proud Family, One-on-One. I have all this footage for my kids to watch. So I just don't want to limit myself, but I also want to be conscious of the position that I put them in and what they have to see or have to go through at school. And, you think about all of that, but ultimately, mama got to be happy for everybody to be happy, and I just make my decisions, based off of, how I feel it would affect my family.
Let's make everybody watching this feel really elderly and remind them that Love and Basketball came out 20 years ago this year. I want you to take me back to that moment, because that was probably the first time that I think people can remember seeing you for the first time,
Yes.
with Love and Basketball. What were your hopes and expectations for your career in Hollywood, and how did that experience, even because again, you're working with Gina Prince Bythewood, who was a first-time writer and director. Sanaa Lathan, that was her first time leading a film. How did that even change maybe the decisions that you would make as a very young child, moving forward?
It's crazy because I had a mom that didn't force me to be a part of this industry. I actually had booked a guest star on a television show, and I booked some Nike commercials. If I recall, that's what everyone from Love and Basketball who's putting it together had seen me in. And for me, Love and Basketball was an amazing experience because I was such a tomboy. Like, I grew up with mainly brothers. I was like so excited to fight a boy on camera. I was pissed off about having pigtails in my hair. We were really hooping. I was hooping back then. Like, it was an exciting experience for me, but also going to the premiere, I really got lost in the story of the film. I felt like I was, after the first quarter, like I loved, of course, the first quarter. Of course, that's what I'm a part of. But when it went to the second quarter, it was like I completely forgot that I was in the movie. It was such a good movie that I was just like, this is amazing, from the music to like, it's just all like in everything that was done. And I remember my mom covering my eyes on the little sex scene that they had. But even then, like, to me, that's a scene that was done in such a tasteful way. It wasn't like graphic or, like it's super intense, So seeing bits and pieces of it as a young woman was like, oh, they're in love. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like degrading, So I think just working with such amazing people and being able to use them as an example, just in my everyday of working. It's like working with Eddie Murphy at a young age. I always say, like, I feel like he's the person that showed me, like, you can have fun on set, and then when it's time to work, it's time to work. And that was never said to me, but I watched it by his example. Between takes, we would play and joke, but when it was time to work, I was like, oh, he's serious, and we got, you know what I mean? So yeah. I've been very fortunate to work with some very talented and amazing individuals, just as people, who helped guide me in the way that I do things. So I watch people who do great things, and I try to incorporate that, and I watch people who mess up, and I be like, oh, okay, I don't want to do that.
What's been the secret sauce for you? Because as you well know, far better than me, a lot of actors don't always successfully make that journey from child actor into, being someone who continuously books roles as an adult. There are a lot of people who kind of get left behind, and their careers are stagnant with that, but that has not been the case for you. You've been consistently working, in the last 2 decades, which again is remarkable. What's been that secret sauce for you? Why do you think that's been the case?
It's weird because after One-on-One, I was 19. Everybody was checking on me, making sure I was okay. They're like, it's canceled. Are you all right? And I'm like, hey, I did 113 episodes of a television show. Not a lot of people can say that they did that, So I'm one of those people. I try to look at the brighter side of things. I recognize the the dull side, the irritating side or depressing side, but I try not to live there. But that is something that as a child actor, you think about as you're getting older. And then when you're not getting things, you go, is it because they see me as a kid? Even now, I know that I'm very I have a youthful, thing about me. So I have to prepare myself when I go in to read for certain roles when I don't, always want to play 16 or always want to play 20. But it's also a blessing, like that gives you more longevity in this business. And just being able to sit back and take it for what it is and just be like, hey, whatever job comes my way, that was meant for me. And if I don't book it, it's meant for the person who got it. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. It's having that type of energy instead of the energy that some people sometimes get, which is either like a hating energy where it's just like, now you mad at everybody. Like you wear yourself down when you do that. So when you start to believe like, hey, what's for me is for me, it is what it is. Like I have auditions that I've wanted so bad and I've messed up on, and I'd be like, dang, and I'd be mad at myself. But then I'm like, Kyla, it wasn't meant for you. And sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh, I'm glad I didn't do that. Or I'll watch it and be like, dang, she did good. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of look at it in that way. It can't always be a competition. And I really I went through that time and I really had to sit back and be like, Kyla, when it's time, it's time. When you're able to adjust certain ways that you present yourself, because the worst thing about being an actor is like you have to understand that the people who are auditioning you can feel your insecurities. Like they can feel it, they can see it, and you're not able to become that character. So just don't focus on it, I guess.
Does it feel like it?
Don't focus on it.
I was gonna say, it has to feel like it is really Kyla Pratt's time right now, because Booked and Busy is definitely the title of your memoir. Ooh, because you have so many, TV film projects, guest arcs, TV, sitcoms, this new reboot coming back. I mean, I don't know when you sleep is probably the real question, but does it feel like having patience is really paying off right now? Does this feel like it's your season to you right now?
It feels like having patience always pays off, because people see when you're working all the time, but they don't see when you're sitting back and you're not working at all. Like there's times where you're sitting back and you're like, okay, can I get something? I just want to work. I love to work. When is it going to happen? And then you start, going into like, okay, I need to create my own things. I need to write. I need to, be that person that doesn't sit around and wait. But then it's also like, damn, I really wanted, that role over here. And with me trying to balance everything, trying to balance being a mother and a woman and just wanting to have everything, having my cake and eat it too. I take advantage of when I'm not working. I have kids that I'm making memories with. I have a man who I love to spend time with. Like I want to make sure that they get a lot of me as well. It's not always about work, and I had to get out of that, because when I was younger, all I did was work. So as I got older and work wasn't coming, it was like, I would have anxiety. I'd be like, I need to do something, because it's not about, making the money for me. I mean, it's very important because this is how, we eat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's about being creative. It's about being able to, that release that you get when you're able to do something that you love, and being patient and understanding that it's going to come when it comes. And hey, I'm not working right now. All right, I'm going to do this with my kids. Any day I'm not working, I'm taking my kids to school. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I kind of overdo it. So that's why I'm always tired. I overdo it because I know there's some times where I'm not going to be able to take them to school, but for them to know like mommy loves you so much and mommy got to work, and seeing them love what I do. And possibly, one of my daughters has already done a couple of commercials, and my youngest just told me she wants to act. I'm like, oh goodness, y'all don't understand. This is a job for us. If you want to do all of this. So to me, I have to sit back and say, it is what it is. If it's meant for me, it's meant for me. And if it's not, it's not,
Well, look, when your mom is Kyla Pratt, you're gonna want to get in the game too.
Their dad is an artist in every single way. So I used to sit back and be like, no, babe, I don't want them to act. I want, be a doctor or a lawyer. Go do, something else. And he's like, Kyla, that's not going to happen. He's like, he is a wonderful writer. Like he does music. He's a tattoo artist who can literally do art. Like our kids are creative people. And so I was like, well, damn, I can't write it. Like, let me, whatever. Like, So I'll just, we both agreed like, hey, well, let them do it, build up their little accounts when they're younger. And if they don't want to do it when they get older, it is what it is. They can do what they want to
It
do.
is what it is. I love hearing all of that. And I love talking with you again. Kyla Pratt, thank you so much for doing this today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I know my man's going to be very excited when I do anything with ESPN.
Let's go.